our company, dear old Gotti, is raising prices. And in that envelope are price quotes from some of our competitors, proving that if our price increases go through, we are not competitive. So as a member of the board member, you know who I'm talking to. Yeah. What do you do? Gets a little uncomfortable, doesn't it? And Bill says, well, why? Why are you calling? What's the issue? Got this envelope, and it's got some information in it that maybe I shouldn't have, but it was sent along by somebody who's really upset. It's one of our customers. And when our customers get upset, you know those goals that you set out for the company about the future? We might have a problem reaching those goals if our customers are unhappy. We better talk.
Behaviors. Your chief ethics officer wants your input into a gifts and entertainment policy. What should the policy be? Write the first sentence and get your colleagues to agree.
Our chairman travels in some pretty exclusive circles. You're going to insult him by saying he can't accept a gift more than $20? This man wants to be the ambassador to England.
So you not take the gift over $20?
Why $20? What, $25? Do I hear 30? What? Come on. This is America. Suppose we're not in the robotics business. Suppose we're in Hollywood. And it's Angelina, it's Brad, come on. So what if it's the giving part? We can't receive it $20. Whatever. Can I give Brangela a Maserati? No? It's made with robotics. Our products help make that car. Can't do it? $20. What are they going to do with a $20? What can you even get for $20? A gift card. That's what? Okay. Okay, let's test that theory.
International. The Crown Prince of Suffern, a small but influential constitutional monarchy, wishes to expand from olive oil to flat screen production and needs machine tooling to transition. For a contribution of $20 million to His Highness, Gotti can win the contract, valued at $100 million a year for the next 3 years. A good investment or not? What's your advice to the board, which must approve investment at this level?
Okay, so again, in your roles as members of the board, certain amounts, we're talking a lot more than $20, of expenditures have to be approved at the board level. The Crown Prince of Suffern, a small but influential constitutional monarchy, they kind of want to get out of agriculture, olive oil, and get into producing flat screen TVs for every application, including these. He'll guarantee us at Gotti $1 million a year in revenue in exchange for $20 million up front. All in favor of making the contribution to His Highness? Raise your hand. All opposed? Raise your hand. All who aren't sure? Yeah. Why aren't you sure?
International. You hire a new university grad with a degree in computer science. She thinks she has detected a latent defect in computer software Gotti purchased from its longtime Russian tech partner. If allowed to run at factory capacity, she claims the equipment could mix medicines that are not compatible. In fact, she says, patients could die. Who do you trust, your Russian partner or this kid?
So we just hired a recent University of New Mexico grad, computer scientist, whiz-bang, hotshot, and she thinks that there is a defect in the software that runs our robots. specifically the ones used in the pharmaceutical industry. And that if allowed to run at factory capacity, the wrong medicines will get mixed. People will end up with potentially lethal doses of chemicals, not carbon dioxide. What do we do? How about the chairman of the department here at Albuquerque? Listen, my friend. We worked together 20 years. Who you trust? Your Russian partner or little girl?
I trust that I don't want my customers to die, and that's the end.
So what do? Go on Emily's list and find a, you know. What do? Where do you find somebody like that? There may be a retired employee who maybe wrote some of the software code or was your factory manager or has a wealth of experience in the company. You could pick up the phone and call the chairman of the computer sciences department at Stanford and say, we don't know each other, but we've got a situation where we need to troubleshoot some very high priority software. Do you know anybody that's available? What do you tell your new employee? So look, appreciate you coming forward. Thanks for contacting the company about this issue. We're going outside and we're going to get somebody else to take a look. What's her reaction going to be? And if she's as good as we think she is at Gotti, she's going to say, thank you for taking me seriously and for looking into this. Right? Okay, so time for a sanity check. You've seen what's happening all around us. China, Russian partners, the Crown Prince of Suffern. What should you do? Buy more shares of stock for yourselves in the company? How many think you should buy more shares of stock? How about selling your stock? Things are not looking good. You were an early adopter, an employee number 15 at Facebook. Stock went public at 40. What's it at now? 17, 18? Sell? How many think you should sell your shares? Has anybody heard of insider trading? What's insider trading? So there are periods of time after, let's say, a quarterly report is issued. There's a period of time when you can trade based on that. If you have other information that despite what's in that quarterly report, you know that the company is planning to do something down the road, then you can't sell. And that applies to employees as well. So you always got to be careful when the issue comes up of selling stock. How about holding on to the stock and just waiting to see what happens? Things could get better, right? Could get worse. We don't know, right?
International. Turnham Loose finds it convenient to maintain a numbered Swiss bank account. Are there any concerns here?
Timely, huh? So what? It's got a numbered Swiss bank account. What do you think? Not such a good thing? For whom? Why? What's his job? Do you remember? Wheeler dealer, internationalist, moving in those markets, numbered Swiss bank account. Should the company care? Yeah. What if I told you that Turnham Loose's family was Swiss? Changes everything? What if I told you that he inherited that bank account from his grandmother in Switzerland? And since he inherited it, there have been no transactions in or out of the account. He's a really good guy. Okay. So kind of like, which chemicals are we dumping into the water? I want to get some facts.
Legal and regulatory. Turnham Loose has drinks one night with his counterpart at Gotti's arch rival, Frontier Business Infotech. and the subject quickly turns to hard times in the business. Luz proposes that Gaudi won't sell in Africa if FBI agrees not to sell in the European market. They shake on the deal. When they arrive home, they tell their bosses that we'll clean up because we won't have those competitors to worry about. Any problems with this deal?
What's wrong with it? It's good for business. What about the agreement? Yeah. Look, we're saying we're going to give up some business opportunities in Africa. Okay? We want you, Frontier Business Infotech, FBI, I want you to give up some other areas of business, and you'll clean up in your markets, we'll clean up in our markets. That's okay, right? Collusion. God, you guys have bad words. Collusion, bribery, embezzlement. Is that what this is all about? Yeah. How about antitrust laws? In Europe, they call them competition laws. This is kind of anti-competitive, right? We're saying we're tired of competing. We're spending resources to get the business. You're spending resources to get the business. Suppose you just focus on certain markets. We'll focus on other markets, and everything will be fine. It's a problem.
Monica Baggs is interviewing you for a senior position in the finance department. She asks you to come around her desk and go online on her computer. She wants to see your Facebook page. Will you let her? What's the big deal?
You're all going to be interviewing for jobs. Potential boss says, hey, show me your Facebook page. It's okay, right? So it's okay if she asks you to open it up and show her, but what?
It's not okay for her to request that, that you have
For
to
your,
give her a code.
everybody agree? That's fine? You don't agree. Why not?
Because you're
Totally agree, but between us, do you want the job or don't you? Yeah. In my company, we have a very nice working relationship with a local high school where our North American headquarters are located. And we take interns from that high school each spring. 2 years ago, I hired what I considered to be one of the world's foremost authorities on social media to come in and advise the company. A 17-year-old kid from that high school. And I said, your project is to take a look at what we're doing as a company with social media and advise us. And give a presentation at the end of your internship to the management of the company. And he did. And my words, not his, he basically said, you guys suck. You have no idea what you're doing. Let me show you what your competitors are doing online. And guess what? He was right. There is a huge disconnect between your generation and mine over the use of social media and expectations about the use of social media in the workplace. And we have to come to grips with it, and so do you. Because in my generation, there's a very strong sense of privacy. I've got kids your ages, and they go, what's the big deal?
That maybe some of the younger people in the room don't realize is that you hear people getting fired because, oh, you were dancing on the table or you had these provocative pictures, but you don't hear about the people who are losing their jobs because of their sexual orientation on there, their political views, their religious beliefs, and all those things are still accessible just as much as your pictures. So these employers aren't just going to see, do you have party pictures? They could be going to see, do we want your type in our company? And I don't agree with that.
And there may be things on your Facebook page that they're not allowed by law to ask you about.
Exactly.
So in an interview, they couldn't ask you those questions, which is why Monica is very devious. She said, come on, show me your Facebook page.
Monty Baggs is an attractive, well-educated, unmarried rising executive. She has not had much time for a social life. One of the junior accountants in the finance organization played tight end at USC and is still a hunk, even after graduate school. Money invites him to meet with her and the outside auditors in New York City. They will be staying at the same hotel, and somehow they have connecting rooms. What might happen here, and what should happen here?
She's single, he's single. I got to tell you, I've done this scenario in probably half a dozen university settings, and it kind of breaks down along gender lines in a funny way. Most of the women are rooting for the two of them to hook up. So I just leave that with you as a thought. Okay, moving on. Let's learn a little bit more about these candidates. This is a 360 review. So what happens in companies is they'll often take a look at potential rising stars and have them evaluated by people that report to them, their peers, and people that they report to. Okay, that's called a 360 review. Monica, based on this review, is thought to by her peers to be an Ivy League snob who lacks people skills to motivate the workforce. Her expertise is very narrow and it's focused on financial matters. She has a reputation for being abrupt and the high turnover of subordinates. Even though she studied in Europe, she's turned down a couple of international assignments that might have broadened her skill set. Kind of typical of the things that would come out in a review like that, a 360 review. Turn him loose. Grew up poor and has always felt he had something to prove. He has a magnetic personality, he's charming, he's admired by his staff. He has a reputation for making the deal at any cost, but may not follow through on promises and expectations. He's not a detail-oriented guy, kind of lacks the cultural sensitivity, even though he is an internationalist. Some people view him as a bull in a china shop. Okay? So we're considering them to be the next CEO. Time to decide. First of all, is Bill Trite going to meet his goals for the company? Remember those lofty goals? How many think he will? How many think he won't? How many are thinking anything? Are we going to make it as a company, guys? Okay. That's Bill's personal goals. Now the company goals. Are we going to make those? Fortune 100 company, one of the 100 best companies to work for, 50% growth.
Are we to assume Monica's going to stay in her job? Or we don't know?
We don't know yet. Who's going to be the next CEO? How many think Moneybags be the next CEO? One vote. Yep. 3. Okay. 4. Should we keep the voting open? 5. How many think, how many think Turn 'em Loose is going to be the next CEO? Got a few more, about 6. How many think it's somebody else and that we ought to have a search committee to go look outside the company for...
I didn't know that was one of the odds.
Okay, so we changed some votes. I can tell you that this stuff is all ripped from the headlines. This happens every day in corporations. So as you get ready to get out there in the workforce, I have to congratulate you. Your instincts are really good. I mean, you didn't always know why something kind of bothered you a little bit, but the fact that it did bother you is terrific. It means you're in a good place. I want to leave you with one final thought as you get ready to go out there. And it's this, that ethics is really what you do when nobody else is looking. This is one of my favorite ways of portraying that. Okay? Yeah. So thanks, guys. Good luck. I think you're going to be great. Started my life as a white-collar criminal defense lawyer, which gave me lots of experience on what happens when ethics programs go wrong and when people do things that they shouldn't do. That really is where the rubber meets the road. And it's helped me evaluate how we do things in our company and to get us on a track where we feel good as an organization that we're doing everything we can to keep the company on a straight and narrow path.